Hi, my name is Gregory Moody from gospel-chords.com, and I want to take a brief moment to look at a technique which I call cycling on the suspension. The suspension, as far as I'm concerned, is the topmost note in any chord, or it could be a melody note, and it could be any one of the notes on the keyboard. And this technique allows you to make beautiful chord changes on that single melody note. Say, for example, you have a note and you're holding it down and you need to make some chord changes on that note. This technique in my course has the chords to enable you to make beautiful chord changes. Say, for example, the note is an A flat. What you would do is you would go to my course and you'd find all of the chords, they're broken apart by tone number, by note number, that have the A flat note on top. And I'm going to use one of my products called Chords on Cards. And I'm going to look at the preaching chords deck to look at some of the possibilities that you can use, chord possibilities, to make this cycle on this suspension. Here are an example of the cards. They're 4 by 6, and they all of the chords are broken apart by tone number, by note number. This is the deck associated with the note A flat. So all of these chords are possible chords that we can use to create a chord cycle on A flat. And you're going to create some beautiful chord changes. So I'm just going to go through this deck and we're going to look in detail at the chords that are in my course. Now these are not those simple major and minor chords. These are those really hard-hitting chords that you want to hear that are going to make your Hammond organ or your keyboard sing. This first chord here, all of my chords have enharmonic spellings. And here we're looking at a B-flat minor 11. Let's hear that chord. It has an A flat as the topmost note. And the notes in that chord are F, C, D flat, E flat, and A flat. And there is a B flat in the bass. So that's B flat in the bass, F, C, D flat, E flat, and A flat. And like I said, these are those hard-hitting chords. Let's hear this chord that has the A flat as the topmost note, which I will designate as the suspension. Let's hear this one. So let's go to our deck. We're sitting on that chord, that B flat minor 11, and we want to just make a chord change to go to another chord. The next possible chord, like I said, there's lots of choices for each possible note. Like I said, these chords on these cards are associated with the note A flat. If you had another note, you just simply pull out the section of the deck that corresponded to that note. So here's another chord. This chord is a C7, sharp 9, sharp 5. Let's hear how that one sounds. That's got a C in the bass, and then a C, an E, a B flat, an E flat, and an A flat. Let's hear this one. Now let's make the change from the first chord to the second chord, and they both have an A flat as the topmost note. So we're going to go from a B flat chord to a C chord, and we're going to maintain the A flat on top. And let's just hear this hard-hitting change. We're going to go from beautiful. Like I said, these are those hard-hitting chords. Now let's take a look at another possibility. This chord is a G flat 9 sus add 6. It also has an A flat in the top. Let's just hear that chord alone, and let's hear how that one sounds. That one has a G flat in the bass, and then it has E flat, A flat, B, E, and A flat. Let's hear that one. Like I said, it's a G flat 9 sus add 6. make the change from the first one to the second one to the third one. Hear how that sounds. Let's go from the B-flat minor 11 to the C to the G-flat. Okay, like I said, you can easily just chain chords together with this chorus will come out with a really fat sound. Let's look at another possibility. The next chord, like I said, it also has an A flat on the top. Is an F7, sharp 9, sharp 5. And the notes in this chord are F in the bass, E flat, A, D flat, F, and A flat. Let's just hear that one alone. Hear how that one sounds. F in the bass, E flat, A, sorry, A flat. Let's put all these together and hear this change. Like I said, you've got an A flat in the melody note and you just want to make some changes, and we just decided that we want to make these chord changes. And let's hear how this sounds. You can just easily string these chords together. And this technique, which I call cycling on the suspension, I actually have a book out on this, Mastering Chord Suspensions, and it talks about the technique and some other things. It's an add-on option to the Adventures in Harmony course. And the chords that I'm using here are from the series of chords in my course called Black Gospel Chords. This is an add-on set of chords to my course. These are specifically designed for those preaching, gospel, and praise and worship. This is an add-on set of chords. You can't use these chords alone. We should just add on chords to the regular set of chords. And I have a book that indicates and displays all of these chords, Black Gospel Chords, and they're all here in detail, just like you see on the cards. But the cards are, like I said, are easier to work with. You can put them right up on your bench, shuffle them around in different orders, and just try out different progressions. Like I said, you can come up with some really interesting and exciting movements with this. So, like I said, have fun with this, experiment with the cards. These are those hard-hitting chords. You're not going to find these chords detailed, laid out, note for note, like this anywhere else. And on the back of the cards, they're spelled out in case you want to have them transposed to another key. They're spelled out note for note in all 12 keys. So there are a total of 12,000 chords in this course, laid out note for note, and they're all arranged by melody notes, suspension. And I talk a lot about this in my course. Like I said, this technique is called cycling on the suspension, and you can do this with any note on the keyboard. You simply go to the deck of cards and pick out chords which you like. If you don't like a chord, there's hundreds of them in the deck that you can choose from.